before.
I think just the most impressive thing overall, though, is Zoot he's a commentator for Quake that is also insanely good at the game and a consistent player too. This is going to be the second time we've seen him playing for top 16, actually making top 16 in week 1, literally right at the start. But a commentator that hasn't done it at the expense of being able to play the game. He's been playing Quake Champions this whole time, has been putting in a serious amount of time, has been doing loads of streaming, loads of helping the community as always, and
well, he himself does a lot of community streams along the same time, like some of the championship stuff, 125 FPS, Cooler Cup. He's right there streaming loads of the games that are missed on other broadcasts and the games that people still want to see, and he just completely covers that area, you know, so it's a more complete circle of Quake content. So personally, you know, sort of biased, not biased, I'd love to see him make top 16. I'd love to see him make regionals, because it would just be a great, you know, it'd be a good experience, I think, for him to really be able to do it all, you know, play at the highest Quake Champion stage, commentate on the highest Quake Champion stage. He's a bit of a sort of multi-talented gentleman. But his opponent, Kertal, is in here for a reason. These guys would have both have won their way up to this point, and we've seen some crazy talented players already, so I don't think it's going to be an easy job, that's for sure.
3, 2,
looks like we're going to be starting things off. I believe it's going to be Blood Covenant once again. Yes, it is.
Now, the immediate thing to notice is that Zoot is fighting a complete mirror of his team, which is Anarchy, Nyx, and Ranger. But there is one thing that Zoot does really well, and that is rail. His rail on this game is really impressive. The danger, I think, the struggle seems to be sometimes when he's not able to get the rail.
Wow, Kertal taking this fight while standing on health regen, but Zoot is trying to get the shotgun on him. Not quite enough damage to add up, but definitely going to do something.
Oh, misses the rail by a hair's length, but not twice in a row.
You know what you were saying about Zoot's rail? First frag of the game.
Might be foreshadowing. Definitely
Maybe.
could be. But we've seen Zoot play on this map. He is really comfortable on Blood Covenant. I think the way he generally plays, a hit and run, rail heavy, mobility heavy style fits both Blood Covenant and Ruins of Sarnath. We've seen him do really well on Ruins of Sarnath as well.
Also, not to mention that this is like Zoot's tried and true composition of champions too.
He only ever uses this.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen him play a composition that isn't these 3 champions in this order. Like always Anarchy first, with that Nyx and Ranger to back up.
Got a rocket launcher, so he's not going to be in a really bad situation. Oh, misses it by half a second. That is going to allow Kertal to take an uncontested mega health. Ooh,
a lot of big rail breaking out here in heavy armor.
Hang on, he's going in for the injection, but oh, doesn't quite seal it.
Did you hear the thud of that shotgun?
I certainly did.
And once again going into range a second.
When you're stuck into the injection, you are temporarily stuck in that animation, and wow, an amazing early frag again, straight on the spawn. Zoot's down to his final champion.
Trying to control heavy armor. Zoot's trying to get him. All he has is a machine gun.
There really isn't much he can do here. It's going to allow Kertal to relatively safely sort of just run back and collect the armor, get healthy again. If you've caught a Nyx on a spawn, she's not only going to be weak, but she has no strong weapons to really stop you from doing what you want to do. Fumbles the Dire Orb, so that's going to be down for a while, but the surprise gauntlet and the rocket blast actually knocked Nyx into him, and he died.
I mean, says Kertal, in block caps no less.
He's not wrong. Here comes Zoot. He's forced out the Ghost Walk already, so if he catches Kertal in a bad situation...
I mean, I feel like we're all wired to see a gauntlet kill and just think, oh wow, that was rude, wow, that was BM. But then you realise, against like this kind of like squishy lineup, and oh my lord,
that was sick.
That was a ridiculous adjustment from Zoot. But against this squishy lineup that both of these players are bringing to the table, the gauntlet almost, well, actually, if they haven't got armor, will one-shot 2 of these 3 characters.
The gauntlet's a railgun at close range. So if you're a weak champion, and you rocket someone, and they just so happen to fly into your face, and you've got a gauntlet that is just revving, I mean, it's pretty good.
I mean, but that's that kind of brave play, though. Regardless how you see a gauntlet kill, that does take bravery to do so, especially against some of these champions that just do so much damage themselves.
Kertal's chasing it down. Did a little bit of damage on the flip side there, but again, Zoot.
Oh, he hears him. Oh. Kertal saw him and immediately doubled back.
Yeah, preemptive injection. Didn't quite see off the top of my head if he was able to get the rail, but this is Anarchy. It's likely he has it.
Oh, missing that rail. That's unfortunate.
Wow, wow. Just head him off, but doesn't quite make the bridge jump. Now Zoot still needs to be careful, even though he's popped the injection, he still can't take a single rail. Look how fast this champion just cycles around the map.
I think, yeah, Zoot just wanted to get himself some armor, but didn't want to get the obvious one in. This one down here first, just in case kertal was going to be waiting for him.
That's going to do a really nice job of getting that injection back. But you look at the health of both these champions, it's basically 2 rails each. kertal just sort of shimmying back and forth.
And then right as Zoot thought he had sort of got onto a pattern of left and right, kertal didn't finish it off, remaining unpredictable.
Oh, that was a painful rail to get hit by. But again, even with this health, still, armor is the port of call as Anarchy. Even with full health, 1 rail will take you out. 1 good rocket as well. Oh, misses it ever so slightly. You can tell right here that it's a similar playstyle from both players. You know, they're both going with this Anarchy. It's very fast movement, trying to catch those rails, but at the same time trying to move so quickly your opponent misses you. Zoot came off better in the first round, but oh, he met him, but they've traded again.
Indeed, but kertal has the armor, so we can take a few more hits here.
Zoot.
So, yeah, Zoot able to top himself back up again. That's what he needs for sure.
Caught on the jump pad, but going in for that ledge grab to reduce how long he's in the air for.
Mega health secured. kertal in a distance.
He knows the fight's likely to go towards heavy armor. Here comes Zoot trying to head him off.
Oh, misses that rail. And the second one too. kertal able to get the heavy armor first. Zoot taking down a lot of his health.
Very minimal damage done so far from both sides. Oh! But the thing is, Zoot has been consistently the one that's having to do the running. He is the one on the back foot. kertal is controlling the heavy armor consistently. If Anarchy has heavy armor, he can tank a deceivingly amount of damage.
Did just pick it up again too. So, kertal holding on to it. Oh! Unfortunate miss for kertal. Still trying to go for those rail shots.
We've pretty much seen exactly the same thing for 3 minutes straight. The question's going to be who gets that first frag, because the second the first frag lands, I think there's going to be, instead of a cautious, you know, in and out style from both of these Anarchies, it's going to change to a defensive versus chase based. But who's going to get that first kill? Zoot, I think, a little bit of frustration from missing those rails.
I mean, to be fair, both these players are missing quite a lot at the moment. I understand though, Anarchy being a very difficult target to hit. Once again though, well yeah, I think he just wants to get out of there for sure if Zoot gets tagged with a rail without any armor. Oh my lord, and kertal went to the armor to try and wait from here, but Zoot still gets the frag first. kertal made the read, but just ultimately didn't get it.
I was completely prepared for Zoot to fall into death right there, because kertal had his number. He had all the armor left. He had a rocket as well. He could have easily have got a single rocket and taken it, but Zoot just caught him off guard. kertal was not ready for him to be there at all. But what we were talking about, the defensive game, now Zoot can do just that. There's a ranger.
Only shooting out with super nail gun though.
Inclined
Not the right weapon to bring to the table.
Inclined to think that he doesn't have a rail, and if Zoot now manages to secure this frag, it's going to be absolutely fantastic. He chases it down and gets another kill. And that's now 2 versus nothing, so...
Not quite sure if it was the right decision for kertal to take that fight when all he had was a nail gun and Zoot was fully stocked up. I mean, just look, he has literally every weapon you could ever need.
But I think that's why we also saw Zoot go towards LG, because he could clearly see... Oh, wow, ouch. He could clearly see that he had no railgun, because why would he be shooting at me from distance with a super nail gun if he had a railgun? Why wouldn't he have switched to that? Which is why I think Zoot was so free to just switch to his LG and just commit to that fight. There was no risk.
That round went from 0 to 100 really fast. Literally like 3.5 minutes of nothing, and then all 3 of them dead immediately.
I think it's because after that frag happened and we went into the 1 minute warning, kertal really needed to make something happen, and he just kind of went all in. Almost meeting head on, but...
Yeah, Zoot, that super shotgun, that's a statement, getting a kill with that gun. Then again, Anarchy, one of the few champions in the game that can really put the super shotgun to good use.
Would have seen him drop down. He's going to try and head him off near where LG comes from. Face first. Doesn't get the missile, though. The rocket. Wrong game. That's going to be a 3.
Zoot just crouching up and down, trying to wait for the mega health to spawn. Ooh.
Oh, he actually still got that last minute rail. I thought because he was stuck into LG, he might not have got that one.
Looks like kertal was definitely the most cautious with his Anarchy.
Oh,
wow, that direct. I don't think zoot, I mean, he'd already turned around. I don't think he was expecting that at all to connect.
That almost felt like an insurance policy rocket. That's going to be... Wow!
Definitely didn't look like that should have missed.
Point blank super shotgun. He's actually going to dedicate to it. Is it a mistake? Changes his mind at the last minute.
Mega health is here, heavy armor up. We can see kertal's going straight for it.
I'm really surprised to see kertal still alive after that. Like, he took so much damage. There's the rockets. A little bit early though, so kertal heard and saw.
Oof.
Oh,
wow,
nice.
That was a nice quick snap.
That was a fantastic shot.
kertal doing a good job sort of recovering right now. I think he really just wants to hang around here waiting for this heavy armor to come back, but he does have quite a while to wait as yet. But zoot gonna get the mega health. Once again, a probable trade. Yeah, kertal just sat there for 10 seconds waiting for the heavy armor to come back. Oof. Could have been an important hit. Unfortunately, zoot misses.
kertal has a lot of armor left.
Yes, indeed. Ooh, there's that rail. One more hit, and zoot's gonna be down. Gets himself the armor. Sort of juking, trying not to get hit on the way. Obviously, people just railing those pickups as people pick them up is quite common.
Both players really trading those rockets back and forth, but now Zoot's in trouble. He has to, that's it. He's managed to get it right before the rail. If that rail didn't miss, Zoot actually would have gone down there, but kertal missing these rails. Now, Zoot has missed the odd one, but kertal in particular, when the rails really matter, I feel like he really just hasn't been able to be on the mark there, and he's been paying for it heavily. That's another rail.
Actually, kertal was surviving that because he only just picked up armor at the time.
But the injection, it's unlikely he's got over 80 HP, so without armor, he's still going to be super vulnerable. I'm not going to have anything to do with that. Just sees the rocket and just completely backs up.
That
cool.
instant double back. Once again, though, yeah, almost 3 minutes into this. There's that predictive rocket on that jump pad. kertal very low right now if he gets hurt.
He can't fight it. He absolutely cannot fight it. But Zoot's going in with the chase. kertal unbelievably weak. Trying to go in for those rockets, and he does manage to get it. Zoot running face first into kertal's trap.
Must say, kertal going towards that blood pool in the middle to just get a few bits of health back. It's not the first time he's opted to do that.
I think Zoot tried to be aggressive. You so consistently see Anarchy players where they make the rush and they sort of make their rush around the corner while jumping, because if you go for that grounded rocket, Anarchy can sort of dodge the splash damage quite comfortably. Zoot tried to do it, but now kertal, he's been able to kind of bring this back.
He's doing well for himself. 1 minute 30 left on the clock. Oh wow, Zoot missing that rail.
He was able to tank a rail up until now, and now he can't. One more injection, and kertal's Anarchy will actually change quite substantially in how much he can tank damage, because at 80 HP, he can't tank any rails at all. But the second he goes over 81, then with the exception of a max charged rail, he can now start taking 2 instead of 1. But is it going to matter? There we go, he's gone in for his injection, so at this point onwards, with 1 minute left as well, it's going to massively help Anarchy play that runaway game.
I think it's a testament to just how much of these injections he's actually been using, and just how long he's actually been alive with this champion.
Zoot's found him, but still quite healthy.
Now Zoot has lost his Anarchy. It's going to be quite hard for him to chase him down, unless he makes a next level read like that. And just die orbs exactly where he wants to be. So it looks like we're going to be going into sudden death in 30 seconds unless we see something crazy happen now. And the final frag of the game will probably be Ranger versus Ranger, unless Zoot gets this frag now.
And he's looking to do it. Catches one rail, but it's not going to be enough at this stage. He's just saw the flash of the die orb, so he knows he's out of there. Taking the rail, the important thing here is making sure kertal can't collect it. He's now controlling this very important area of the map. 5 seconds, we're going to go into sudden death, but that's no surprise. This final round is going to be decided by a Ranger mirror match.
This is just map 1-2. We've actually really slowed things down. Round 1 was quite swift, and these next 2 really a lot more calm.
Oh, the pillar just in the way. More missed rails. Still anyone's game. kertal with significantly more health, but that's only going to last so long with Zoot's armor value. Caught him off guard. He didn't see him. But no, minimal damage going in for the die orb. They trade missiles and they trade again, but no, kertal, I think, got the frag first.
Yeah, kertal was going to be winning that round. Probably he did get the kill first. Yes, it will.
Oh.
Wow.
I mean, it was expected. The second we saw that frag go first, Of course, whoever got it first, but
1.
what a trade. What a trade.
That was good for kertal. You know, he's breathing that sigh of relief. It was a trade, but he came off better because his frag registered first. Zoot still on point to take the game, but at the same time, with just how long these are lasting and how kertal's starting to survive a lot better.
No matter what, that's going to be a breath of fresh air. That's going to be a wake-up call that kertal needed. But no, he's got a rocket launcher, so he's going to get good damage. Caught off guard with the LG, but he was nice and healthy for that fight. Zoot with no armor left and knocked a mile away. Oh! Zoot actually staying there. That's going to be a free heavy armor. No doubt Zoot's going towards that mega health to try and sort of trade out the resources just a little bit. But
yeah, I think kertal not wanting to use that teleporter in case Zoot is up there waiting for him. We can see he's there with the rocket. Or catch him
he
in the air.
just got sent into orbit right there.
Wow, but Zoot missed that mid-air rail on him. So it might be one of the first times we've seen Zoot miss a shot like that all game.
Importantly, actually, missed his circle jump on the bridge, so he's not going to be able to take the rail. So Zoot is still going to have that rail, which kertal did not have.
But that's important though. kertal lost his Anarchy relatively early in comparison to the other rounds now. And Zoot now has that lead, so kertal can't play that sort of defensive game anymore.
Now we've seen Zoot's Anarchy with a rail in hand. It's been dangerous before, and it's looking to be dangerous again. Misses the third one, but he's going to chase this one down. Oh, you saw kertal standing there with a gauntlet as well.
I mean, that was it. That was just knife versus knife, and Zoot was just a little bit more prepared. I mean, kertal tried, credit to him, he tried to return the favor, but Zoot was just a little bit more ready.
You know, if you watch that back and slow the footage down, you can see Ranger's eyes open bigger than they've ever been as he sees an Anarchy with a gauntlet answering back, face first.
But no, another testament to just how back and forth Quake Champions can be. Almost every single round is 2 rounds prior have both gone down to overtime. And right now we're less than 2 minutes into this one, and the round might be over if Zoot can secure this kill.
He's done a little amount of damage with the rockets, but the super shotgun to seal that final frag. And Zoot is now, again, 1 game away from moving on into regionals for a second time.
So this won't be the first time we'll see Zoot in top 16. He now has 1 map to go to, again, tie up a placing we know he's already managed to achieve before. And ultimately, that's what, as a player, as a competitor, that's what you want. You know, if you enter the same sort of tournaments in succession, week after week after week after week, you don't want your results to go backwards. You want to go from like, you know, okay, well, I placed this round this time, so next time I want to get to the next round, and the next round, and the next round, and the next round. And Zoot set his bar quite high, I think, with week 1 making it to top 16. That's quite hard to guarantee that every single week, especially with the caliber of players, but he's doing a good job of at least doing it more.
Well, he's done really well for himself, because in the first week, he was playing and got top 16, as you said. In week number 3, he was commentating, so he wasn't in that week. But when he's entered again, immediately the next week, he's straight back in there with a good chance to make top 16 again. So he's had quite an impressive run so far in the World Championship. But what that came down to was just the playstyle that Zoot is forefronting, which is a very hit and run heavy, fast movement, very aggressive on the rail. And the majority of his teamwork, team success comes from Anarchy. So when he can get all of that working, he has a great performance. And Blood Covenant, I think, really kind of lets you exaggerate that kind of play style. Ruins of Sarnath also allows you to play a similar style. The question is, in this potential final map, Ruins of Sarnath also benefits that style to a T, arguably better than Blood Covenant. But we did see kertal go for the exact same team comp, and with the Anarchy, it was a similar playstyle. It was just a style that Zoot was able to enforce a little bit more effectively. So if they have similar styles, does that mean that kertal goes Ruins of Sarnath to try and exaggerate how he can perform, while at the same time inadvertently giving Zoot a bigger advantage? It's Blood Run.
No, it's going to be Blood Run. That is what kertal's going to be going with. Now, question is, do we see kertal bring the same composition? Zoot, I don't expect to see him change at all. Like we said, as long as we've been seeing him play, he's been running this very tried and true team of 3. kertal looks he's doing very much the same thing.
No, Galena.
Oh, no, he swapped out the Anarchy. Now, that's interesting, because I think it's fair to say that Anarchy was by far kertal's best champion. So the fact that he's actually opting not to bring Anarchy back, I think, is a bold move. Yeah. Unless he is just that. I mean, let's not forget, Galena on Blood Run, we saw that last game before.
Oh, shout out to Pavel, right?
Yeah, Pavel was able to bring Galena onto this map by himself, and it was night and day. You know, it really did turn the tide of how things were going. And it was very similar. We saw his opponent take first map very convincingly on Blood Covenant. He then went to Blood Run, picked Galena instead of... I think he too may have actually swapped out Anarchy for Galena at the time. At least, you know, he swapped out someone else for Galena. And then, you know, any of you guys that watched that map will know what I'm talking about. That was just night and day different just by itself.
Well, when Pavel went in with Galena, it was the unsung hero of that entire map. So you wonder if history will repeat itself. Either way, just to remind you guys before we get into this, this is the final qualification week. So if Zoot wins this map, he's going to go up 2-0. He's going to move on into Sunday's playoffs, and Kertal will be going home for good when it comes to the Quake World Championships. So this is a very important map. He's bet the farm on this map, and he's bet it on this Galena pick. Unfortunately, he gets picked immediately, using it aggressively instead of defensively. I'm not sure I agree with that.
That's not a 100% way of starting things off, unfortunately. Zoot is looking to just demand this one back. Zoot starting off with the Anarchy, forced to use his injection, but quickly, very quickly, able to pop himself back up to full health again. Now Zoot, there we go, he's managed to secure those 3 crucial weapons, Rail, Rocket, and Lightning Gun.
So we've gone into just 30 seconds, and we've already lost 1 champion. The problem is, Kertal was lost the champion of the map.
I mean, they spawned very close to each other, and ultimately Zoot just decided to just force that fight immediately. I just don't know if Kertal was ready to start fighting that early.
That's 1 rail again. With Kertal as weak as he is, he really can't tank anything extra, and just like that, really nice rocket. Kertal was in big trouble. He's down to his nicks, but at this stage, Zoot just looking really on point, and I think that was a Ghost Walk used as well.
That does mean, though, Kertal is down to that Nyx by himself. Oh, catches him coming out of a jump pad. If he doesn't have a Ghost Walk, this could be a disaster. Ooh, and that is going to be that Zoot with a very commanding round 1. 2 more of those, and we'll be seeing him again on Sunday.
Not my day, says Kertal, so maybe thinking he's having quite a bad day.
Yeah,
potentially.
I mean, he's got 2 rounds to make it his day. You know what I mean? He does not have much longer left to bring it together. He's done well. He's got up to this far already. He's clearly beat a number of opponents to get here, but this is his final obstacle before Sunday.
Zoot decided to go for Ranger first, and funny enough, actually, Kertal did the exact same. Great minds think alike. This will actually quite significantly change how this match will approach, because they both have so much access to wherever they want to be at any given moment. But Zoot's rails, I mean, they will never stop being so prominent. He is landing so many of them, and the damage is uncontested. Kertal cannot compete with how much Zoot is able to just pick him off from range. The second he gets up close, he just doesn't have the health to survive.
But it does take him a while to top himself back up again, though. Zoot does have a little bit of a health and armor lead. Oh, quite a commanding one now. He's able to get that heavy armor.
A long time until Mega Health spawns as well, so it's just going to further increase that lead for Zoot at this stage. Here comes Zoot, but it's more, I think we're likely to see a fight commence near these pickups. Doesn't teleport. Smart to not teleport towards the dire orb. I think he kind of missed his window for that one.
Here's that 1v1. Zoot doesn't have the mega health, and he's going to lose to Kertal just down to the sheer health of it. Kertal playing that one really well. Now has that lead in the round, as he now has 3 champions to 2. Zoot only having a nail gun accessible at the moment.
Zoot's been put back onto his Anarchy. This really is the star of his team so far, so definitely can't count him out. He's got the champion that he feels most comfortable with, but here comes the LG. Surprised to see Kertal actually back out of that one. I think he was doing a really good job there.
He just wanted to secure the mega health again, sort of exercising caution over chasing a kill, considering how quickly it is possible to turn things around. Let's get opened up by a rail, but still able to get the heavy armor. Zoot probably going to die here. Yeah, Zoot unfortunately backed himself into a corner, and Kertal just paying attention enough to make him pay for it.
Now on the switch side, Zoot now down to his Nyx. We've seen very little of Zoot's Nyx, I think, in general.
Haven't had the reason to see it yet. Zoot's been playing well enough that we haven't needed to see it. This is a difference, though, as Kertal running with this single Ranger. He's been able to take down 2 of Zoot's champions.
He's heading them off, but there's that trade. He's going to sit there and try and take that heavy armor, but does get a gauntlet, so he's done big damage, but nothing he can't undo with those 2 health pickups. Surprised Zoot survives, to be honest.
Zoot, I mean, just look how low he is. Zoot is very weak. Unless he can find something to top himself back up. Mega health isn't going to matter. There's that long-range rail. Good shot from kertal, taking us down into round 3.
A good turnaround, I think, for kertal. In this kind of situation, when you're 1 map down, you got to get those rounds, and you got to get them early. Because if you're in a situation where you're 2-0 down and you have to make a 3-round comeback, you might be nervous enough already, let alone when that happens.
It does alleviate some of that pressure and makes that journey a little bit more simple to deal with. But kertal, nice, gets that rail on Zoot, so Zoot forced to run away.
Even though he's got a nice amount of health, the smallest rail really is going to put him in a bad situation, so... Just look at that timer. Almost identical clocks.
Oh, that direct rocket. Zoot forced to run again, I think.
Well, they're both quite weak, actually. Zoot, it's going to be risky trying to go for that heavy armor, and I think he knows it. Just look at how weak he is. Oh! But now, yeah, he's trying to get out of there, kertal, with that heavy armor on deck. Doesn't really need to worry too much. I mean, Zoot's got HP, but he still has no armor. But because of the armor, kertal can just tank rails for days.
Interesting situation here, though. We can see that kertal is doing a good job of controlling these power-ups. Zoot is still looking for these fights.
It reminds me of what we saw in Blood Covenant, where it's very, very slow. Minimal frags done. As that teleport goes in for the tri-bolt, but does absolutely minimal damage. Here comes Zoot, but a very important rail. Make
wow,
that 2.
What a shot from kertal. That's exactly what he needs.
That was not only an important single rail to try and get Zoot to run away from that fight and get out of that situation, but the second one, just last minute, not only win the fight, but get a frag on deck.
And Zoot consistently finding himself with just a nail gun at the start. Oh, this is a bit of a disastrous situation. There's the Ghost Walk.
But he's got no more rockets than kertal. Just 2 different instances didn't realize, but it doesn't matter too much.
Wow, this railgun kertal is really starting to switch on his accuracy now. It's doing a lot of work for him so far.
That was what held him back on Blood Covenant. It was missing the rails is what held him back on Blood Covenant. Doesn't look like he's doing that as much this time.
Out secured once again. Makes you wonder, what can Zoot do to really turn this around? Because right now, kertal is just not putting himself in a dangerous situation.
For the first time in a while, we've seen Anarchy picked as that last champion. So often we see Zoot go with it first. I wonder if he loses this round. Will we see Anarchy picked first again? Because that was how he took the first round too.
I was actually going to say, I find it quite confusing how Zoot is opting not to start with Anarchy now. I think right now we maybe just trying to contend with just the sheer, be in 2 places at once mobility that Ranger can bring to the table.
Well, no doubt. I think that's the reason, because on this map in particular, Ranger first is so effective because he can get really important pickups in the blink of an eye. On the chase, caught Zoot from behind, so this is not a good spot for him at all, especially seeing he's now eating a rail. But he does get out of there.
Right, 2 minutes left on the clock, and Zoot down 2 champions. kertal really doing a good job of just holding on to this lead.
Heading him off, but another missed rail in comparison to 2 of those. And I mean, that missed rail at the beginning was pretty much the beginning of the end. He ate one of those rockets that did 80 damage, and in that situation, I mean, Anarchy can't really take the largest amount of damage, especially when he's point blank.
Do you think we're going to see Zoot go back to that first pick Anarchy?
Yep, no
yes,
doubt.
He is.
And he has gone for it.
Oh, wow, instantly eats a rail for it too.
That was a really nice rail, actually. But the turnaround from kertal has been very strong.
Oh wow, good hit on Zoot. kertal doing a much better job of just reading where Zoot's going to be in this game.
Well, in that first round, Zoot had an amazing start. Like, he rushed kertal immediately. He got a fantastic spawn, and he really capitalized. But we haven't seen that scenario just yet. But they trade it 1 for 1. Now, they've actually both lost their most effective champions for the map. So you'd be surprised to see how this matchup goes now they've lost their main champions.
However, though, kertal's Ranger has by far been the one that's doing the most damage in this game so far. So he has lost, well, he has lost that important champion.
And we are yet to see his Galena do a huge amount. But on the flip side, we are yet to see, we're yet to see
kertal
Zoot's
just hasn't lost his Ranger. That's fundamentally the big point. Zoot is getting aggressive here. He wants to get this frag. Slowly losing health, but as long as he's got armor, he should be somewhat safe.
He's going to know Nyx has lost Ghost Walk, and this will be an uncontested heavy armor. Great start for Zoot. A complete mirror of what we saw last time, but this time it's Zoot with the Ranger that's heavily stacked.
Indeed, but if we can see Kertal get isolated here, he might go down. This is an Nyx by himself, and Zoot's been doing well, but Kertal able to get some of this armor back, which is going to be super important.
Caught him off guard. That high damage super shotgun could have done more. There's the reappear.
He turned around right as he reappeared, but he's going to get the frag anyway. Zoot was able to clean that one up. Mega Health just about respawning too. There we go. Maybe that's why Zoot ran straight to the Mega Health. He assumed she was going to Ghost Walk out of it to try and pick up the health, perhaps.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Right now, yeah, Kertal's stuck on this final Galena. One frag away from being tied up, or, well, tied up in rounds on the map, or tied up in terms of matches, as Kertal's going to take himself to 1-all. If he can take this, though, he does have to kill two champions with just Galena.
Fresh off the spawn, that's the issue. Because Zoot, look at how stacked up he is. He can step on a totem now and he won't care. He will not care remotely. There's that heavy armor.
Oh, wow.
Taking a lot of damage just to get it. Pretty much undoing the damage that he just got back.
And taking out the totem in the process. And again, yeah, that's just not going to work. Zoot has been paying a lot of attention to where he's placing these.
Well, this does mean that using the teleporters is going to be almost non-existent. It's willing to bet that Kertal was going to be using those totems on those teleporters. Here he comes. 100 damage, though. Can't afford to take much more of that. Misses the rail! And he's got 1
health.
HP.
Wow. Yeah, that clutch miss on that rail could be very important here.
How many times are we going to see people with 1 HP today? This is madness.
It's pretty nuts. Seeing it more, I think, any other week so far. It's almost as if this is the last week and the game knows. Game is trying to add to that suspense. Always a risk seeing players go through those teleporters when there's a Galena on the field, just in case she has those traps ready to go.
Sometimes I guess you can be confident that they're just going to save it.
Well, good prediction from Kertal, shooting rockets up immediately.
Zoot's really going to sort of plan his attack. Yeah, doesn't want to overextend there. It's always risky pressing the advantage against a Galena because at any moment she could have a totem on the ground and you just walk into it.
Already back on max health, though. Thanks to those 2 well-placed pickups. Yeah, Kertal's going to have to be quite careful here, though. 1 minute 20 left on the clock, and Zoot does have that champion limit. Or champion lead, I should say.
But that's why he can afford to be aggressive here. Going in, stealing the Mega Health, but only picks it up at the last minute. The rail misses!
And just like that, Kertal was able to tie things up. 1 minute left to go. It isn't going to matter anymore as we find ourselves 1 left apiece.
Quarter coming out of the invisibility, but he's got so much armor. Zoot needs to be careful about using those teleporters now.
Makes me wonder, even though he's got health, is he still going to die in one go if he comes through to an unfortunate end of one of them?
If he's got armor, then he'll survive. If he hasn't got armor, he's likely to get completely annihilated. There's that Mega. Kertal's taking the rails, but he's doing such a good job of controlling those, the Mega Health, heavy armor. So when he gets hit by a rail, it really doesn't matter too much.
This is quite a tanky Galena to deal with now, over 100
Well,
armor.
there's 100 health, 75
health,
armor. Like, that is a tanky champion.
And totem to keep her topped up. This is going to be quite a difficult champion to deal with, unless you can get something working really well. I mean, Zoot's hitting quite a lot of rails just sort of neutrally, but Kertal's just doing such a good job of just topping himself up straight away.
Speaking of being topped up, that's another Mega. And a huge amount of damage. Zoot could not be any weaker.
And he just able to top himself back up again, though. But I mean, just look. Kertal, look how stacked he is.
That is a lot of everything. It's going to be so tricky to come back from this. But Nyx, if he can just get Kertal weak in any degree.
God, this match has been a bit of a marathon for these players so far. Kertal needs to win this just to tie up the series, and Zoot needs to win this just to tie up the rounds in the what could be the last match.
Now there's that totem once more to deny access, but at the same time, find out exactly where Zoot is hiding. The second he sees his totem disappear, he's going to know where Zoot has just gone.
It also means that if Kertal's kind of sealing off these teleporter exits with these totems, then he's going to have a better idea on, you know, how safe he can actually afford to go for the heavy armor.
Only 1 rocket left, though.
Oh, that's a lot of damage coming out.
Does he need it? Goes in for the Ghost Walk, but again, Zoot is so weak. And he's too weak to fight for these pickups, so it's going to let Kertal take them for free again.
That's what happens when Galena can get everything set up.
Stop watch.
He's getting these rockets, but it really isn't going to be enough. Tries to head him off. Here comes kertal going in for the chase, and he does get zoot. And he gets a game on the board.
That's a really good turnaround, though, for kertal. After that first game looking so one-sided, he was able to get around in return there, but that was a much better map.
You see that right there. Ruins next. The style that Zoot likes to enforce. Blood Covenant benefits it. Ruins of Sarnath benefits it. I think at this stage it must be Zoot's favourite map, because every time we see him play on Ruins of Sarnath, he plays out of his mind, and it just complements his playstyle perfectly. But speaking of playstyles, again, we saw Galena and just how valuable she is on Blood Run.
Which we didn't see early in that map. Like, definitely not making as much effect, but the later that map went on, the more comfortable and confident kertal was finding himself being. I mean, the proof is really in what you saw, especially that final round, when Galena has the mega health, has control of the heavy armor, but also has a ton of those totems down, which just makes it so hard to navigate around. So if you do decide to take those fights against her, she just has loads of health, the regen is insane, and she is still cutting off those certain escape routes. Like, if you're trying to fight, how many times do we see people fight and one of them runs off into a teleporter to try and get away? All of a sudden, you can't do that, because there's a teleporter, there's a totem, I should say, at the exit of that teleporter. So should you find yourself with the momentum to actually build it up, she can be a nightmare, which she can still do on Ruins, but I think the most important thing about this is that this is going to be a much better map for Zoot, because, like you said, he really likes this map, like, no hesitation. He lost the map and was just like, GG, Ruins next.
It just comes down to his Anarchy. Like, out of everything that Zoot plays, it is the Anarchy, and only the Anarchy, that benefits so greatly for this map. And he wastes no time. He goes Anarchy first. He's going to go Ranger. He's going to go Nyx. And he is going to go Anarchy first every single round, no matter what happens, because it is just... it's the map for his team. Now, kertal, with the change, he's gone Visor instead. Now, is this another point where it's Nyx and Ranger are his core? No, it's Anarchy again. So, no Galena, no Nyx. He's going Visor for this map.
Interesting. Now, I understand that because obviously this is quite a large map, so if you want to sort of use that piercing sight just to find where they are. However, if it's a piercing sight versus, let's say he runs it into Zoot Anarchy, it doesn't matter if you know where Anarchy is. He is still ridiculously fast and good at running around and really playing that defensive game on Ruins completely. So even if you know where Anarchy is, doesn't necessarily mean you can catch him. It just means you know where he is. You know, you see him, doesn't mean you can actually catch him and stop him.
So, it's hard to call this one, because after Blood Covenant, I was kind of ready to say, well, I kind of feel like Zoot's going to take this one, because his playstyle was just perfect for Blood Covenant, and even though it was a similar playstyle on the side of kertal, he just didn't look as comfortable. Now, when Blood Run started, and after that first round went so well for Zoot, and we even saw kertal say in chat, this is not my day. You know, I'm having a bad day on this game. It's like, well, is he checked out here? Is it not possible for him to make this comeback? And then his Galena just put in work from start to finish, and his Ranger. But either way, this is going to be the final map of the night. It's going to be Zoot versus kertal 1-1. The winner of this map will make it into the EU, well, Sunday playoffs, to determine who makes the regionals.
4 weeks of qualifying opportunities in these dual cups to find out who will be the top 16 on Sunday to play for the regional spots, and we are finding ourselves down to the final set before we play those all-important do-or-die games on Sunday. But this is it. kertal and Zoot, one apiece. The winner will move on to Sunday, and the losers adventure in Quake World Championships will be over.
Now Zoot's gone Anarchy first. This is 100% what we expected. kertal, though, is really heavily stacked up, so he's no doubt going to fight this. Zoot is in a really bad situation. He's just trying to outdo the damage, but he is so low on health. All he needs is a little bit of LG to do it, and he does manage to get it. Zoot's Anarchy has gone already. That is not a good situation for him.
He was trying his best to juke around that middle totem, but just wasn't able to do it, and kertal was just sticking to him like glue. Really well played by kertal to bring himself to a strong lead already, a minute into the game, probably even less than.
The important thing of each round will be removing that Anarchy from Zoot, because the second he loses it, like, it really is it's his best champion, it's his strongest champion, and it's heavily why I think he's gone for this map. But not to say the rest of his champions aren't as good, because, I mean, he gets the job done with all three.
I mean, he's been using this exact team composition for so long, there's no way Zoot isn't confident in any of these two champions, but I get what you mean. His Anarchy is definitely that sort of like designated first point character.
Yeah. But kertal staying so consistently healthy. Zoot hits another rail there
from kertal.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, he's in big trouble. And he tries to get away with the die roll, but he can't get out quick enough. And there's the Visor.
I respect the aggression, though, from kertal, realizing he had done a ton of damage to Zoot, but Zoot was already where he needed to be to get that defensive shot. And Zoot's tying things up in first round, just the first round.
taking Visor after a champion gets fragged is really useful because it allows you to, immediately when you spawn, you can see exactly where the opponent is on the map, which, not to really use it as an offensive tool, it lets you calculate what your next move should be and how you can safely approach the next objective that you're going for. Oh!
Wow, a clean direct. Kertal was not ready for that much. He was, I mean, look, he was desperately sitting there on the heavy armor. Definitely didn't expect that to happen. But now Kertal with that final champion, the Anarchy.
He is weak. He's got to be really careful. There's the predictive rocket. Doesn't quite get it. The read was on point, but the timing on the rocket ever so slightly off target. This is a great round for Zoot. Even though he lost that Anarchy, the Ranger's still getting the job done. Goes back to what we said. Even though Anarchy is his premier champion, his other two, I mean, he has so much experience with them already in the World Championship.
Oh, that quick snap 2 round, not quite enough to take the kill though. Kertal able to top himself up a little bit. That was a good shot from Zoot.
Yeah,
Kertal has been recovering. Oh my, he has no health. Invisible health.
He's in big trouble. All Zoot has to do is hit him with anything. I mean, you just have to breathe on him. But it's giving him a nice amount of time to get out of there and try and get what health he can back.
Let's not forget though, it is Anarchy, so 3 pickups is basically going to put him back up to top again.
That can be both a good and a bad thing. That means he's not going to have much health even when he's full. There's a rail again. And now Kertal is in big trouble. This lightning gun, he can't really do much to get out of the way of that. Zoot takes the first round and now only 2 rounds away from moving on into Sunday's playoffs.
I think as soon as Kertal went around that sort of the backside of the ruins, it was only a matter of time before Zoot kind of just headed him off, you know, and sort of got that read on the way he was going to try and escape.
Round 2.
Now,
Already round 2 though, Zoot. Let's not forget he did lose his Anarchy very early on into the first round and was still able to take it. But at the same time, Kertal has just been doing a great job of sort of just dealing with this Anarchy from Zoot, even in the last game.
opting to go for the LG instead of the rail. I know he's got it already, but just being able to really sort of deny it from the opponent, really. Don't let him pick it up.
Oh, that did quite a lot of damage. But the mega health is here, so Zoot is able to bring himself way back up to healthy again.
Oh, another fight near the heavy armor. If Zoot can actually keep him away from it, which he does, opting to run in and take it, he's stolen it away. That was a free frag. And because he met Kertal down there.
That's the second time Kertal has died just trying to go for that heavy armor. Kertal really putting a lot of emphasis on just securing that power up, but that's twice now he hasn't been able to do it.
A big part of it is because Anarchy can move around the map so fast. He can take one of the power-ups and then within a few seconds he's already at the next one.
Indeed. A nice quick airborne rail though from Zoot. Kertal now lost all of his armor.
Definitely was not ready for him to be behind the ruins there, so Kertal's going to sort of get away undetected, but not this time. Does find him. Another rail. He is so weak. Is he going to change to LG? I wonder if he's going to try and head him off near Mega. Oh, Kertal with the double back.
We know the armor's not up for a while though, so Kertal's going to be disappointed.
Has used the jump pad. It does put him a little bit dangerously close to where Zoot's running around.
This is actually quite similar to how Zoot was able to take the first map though, was just controlling both of these big power-ups, and that's in return what Kertal was basically doing in map 2. It really seems to come down to who has control of mega health and heavy armor in map 1, and now it was Zoot. And that's why I think he's just holding on to that lead. 2 minutes in now, so running a little bit into this round, but plenty of time left to go.
I reckon we're definitely going to be seeing most of these fights towards one of the two power-ups almost all the time. And again, actually Kertal kind of just sitting there and waiting for Zoot to approach towards heavy armor. Content having these fights, and really nice catch on the rocket jump. Here comes Zoot just flying from up top. I don't like the idea to go back onto that jump pad. I think that might have been a mistake.
I mean, I don't think Kertal was expecting an Anarchy to fly at him at such high velocity from so far away. I think Zoot just kind of shook the foundations a little bit there, and he was able to get the better of him.
Unfortunately, the second he used that jump pad, it was a death sentence. He wasn't really able to steer himself in the air, and Zoot with his rail, which has already been quite strong, guaranteed damage, trying to run away. Doesn't quite get that last-minute rail. Kertal, a little bit safe, but for how long?
Kertal's going to have to be careful here now, though, because Zoot does have a commanding lead in Champions. Now it's Anarchy versus Anarchy. I mean, Zoot can run away just as well as Kertal wants to, but Kertal can't really afford to.
Point-blank rail, confident play there. If that missed, he would have certainly gone out. Zoot can afford to be careful here if he really wants to, because he's got that 2-minute advantage.
Once again, Mega Health and Heavy Armor, he has them both. Kertal didn't hear him pick them up.
He can still afford the tanker rail. Oh, and he gets the last-minute catch on the back of the ankle, I think. And just like that, he only needs one more round.
That's it. 1 round away, potentially 1 round left on tonight's broadcast. Zoot 1 round away from making it to Sunday's playoffs. But Kertal has been playing really well all set. I mean, it had a shaky start in the first map, but was able to dominantly take map 2. And now we're back on Ruins. Now it's gone back to Zoot's choice. Kertal just isn't quite able to make things work the same way.
I mean, that's it. You can see why this map choice. Zoot wasted no time. The second he lost Blood Run, he was in chat and said, right, Ruins next. Immediately.
Zoot's quite low though. Quite way away from both of these pickups spawning. More than enough time for Kertal to finish the job.
This can be quite a stressful scenario, I think, because if you're against Zoot, who is clearly very capable with Anarchy on this map, and he's hitting loads of different rails, and he's snowballing these rounds the way he is, this is a toughie. This can be a real morale killer. He has no other options now but to take the next 3 rounds, and he knows that, and it's going to be a tall ask. They trade a rail for rail, but because Zoot was low enough, he does get taken out there.
So a much better start for Kertal though, just taking away that problem champion straight away. Let's not forget that it's probably Zoot's strongest.
Zoot being a little bit aggressive.
There we go.
Wow, you were talking about a good start. How about 2 champions in 1 minute?
It's a change of pace. Let's not forget, we kind of expected a slow and steady pace to this map, considering that's how Zoot normally plays it whenever we watch him.
Trying to get a read on when he comes out of the ghost mode, but even though he was nowhere to be found, Kertal still, he's in the driver's seat of the round.
We're actually talking how imperative it is for both of these players to sort of control these big pickups, and that's basically exactly what we're seeing as a flip side now. Kertal with both Mega Health and Heavy Armor. Normally we've seen Zoot with this, and he's just been dominating this map.
Going in for the Dire Orb last minute, but nice reaction onto the ghost mode. When they trade abilities for abilities like that, it's only ever going to be in the favor of Ranger, because he's got that 20-second cooldown versus Nyx's 40-second cooldown. It's pretty much exactly half. Ranger is always going to have it ready for the next fight. If they fight frequently, Zoot would have heard that. Tries to catch the last...
Yeah, Zoot was ready with the ambush, but Kertal too stacked for it to count. And eating a rail straight into a Heavy Armor pickup, I mean, that's just basically nullifying that damage completely.
Zoot, that's actually really trying to sort of plan his attack. He's trying to plan himself towards those pickups, and he does manage to steal the Mega, but he's still unbelievably weak. The next fight's going to take place down near Heavy Armor. Zoot is going to be quite risky if he tries to stop this, so I don't think he's going to quite be in
Zoot didn't have any armor whatsoever, definitely unable to sort of contest that pickup. And Kertal taking full advantage, getting himself nice and topped up. 2 minutes left to go, and Zoot is down on champions. If Kertal can hold on to this lead, it'll look a lot better at taking a return round here maybe, but he's going to have to be careful. We've already seen how fast things can turn around.
Gets a rail though. Zoot cannot afford to take anything else, but the Mega Health does undo that. But even with all that health, he's going to be 2 rails away without any armor. Meets him with the heavy. This is a start. Gets Kertal 1 time, and now, even though he's quite weak, by the time Kertal spawns, Zoot should be at least nice and topped up.
But Kertal opted to go for the visor instead of Anarchy, which leads me to believe that I don't think he wants to run the clock. I think he just wants to end this the old-fashioned way and just take Nyx off of the table.
You do get a little bit of insight as to what their potential game plan will be, judging by the champion they've selected. And Kertal trying to go in for his visor. Last minute ghost mode, but hang on, here comes Zoot. He's being confident and it pays off. That was so risky, but he got it.
Hang on a minute, are we going to see a full comeback from Zoot here? He's actually managed to bring it back completely. 1 minute left to go, 1 minute warning.
But I mean, that's a mute point at this stage.
That's what I mean. This could have been Kertal's opportunity to play the timeout, but he just really wanted to end this aggressively, I think. But Zoot just using that aggressive ghost mode immediately.
The danger is going to be, even if Kertal has his injection, which no doubt he will, Zoot has that trump card. He's got the Ghost Walk. He can get out of a fight of which he's going in. He pushes in. This could be the final fight. And now Zoot has been able to push kertal away from the heavy armor.
Yeah, completely scared him off of the power-up. And just like that, Zoot is now controlling both of these himself. After it being so back and forth all map, he finally has the map dominance.
It kind of feels like the controllers just kind of slipped through kertal's fingers. Walks
that
into
can be
a rocket.
dangerous.
He commits. Oh! Oh, they both miss!
Dear.
He's going to get the Mega. He's got the Mega. That could be it. That could be game over. He goes through. Zoot with the comeback. That missed rail at the last second. Zoot took full advantage.
That rail that we saw, like, narrowly miss him. That rail that we saw in that first person just grazed by the right-hand side.
You felt that one. I mean, you heard it.
That was the series-deciding rail. If that connected, that would have been it. Zoot gone. Or at least, you know, evened up. But it missed, and Zoot was able to pick up the Mega Health and just follow with the LG, and that was it. It all came down to that one miss.
He could afford to take, after that Mega, he could afford...
in hindsight, a wonderful thing.
He could afford to take a direct rocket because he had over 100 health. He could afford to take loads of LG. He could take a gauntlet to land on. He could take a rail. Like, that was so confident where he went, right, I've got Mega, I've got LG, I'm winning this game, and he did just that. Like, really good capitalization at the very end. But that was a crazy series. It was almost over for Zoot, but I think it was just good composure, good awareness. I think he just played better on Ruins, and you saw why he went for that map. It was first and foremost an anarchy map for him, but the rest of his champions did the job too. Like, he's not a one champion, one trick pony.
Oh, indeed. But I think all things considered, though, well played to kertal. I mean, kertal,
that was hilarious, by the way.
kertal just really brought this entire series back. After what was an incredibly one-sided first map, we sort of wrote it off as, okay, this is going to be a quick and simple 2-0. But kertal was determined to not let that be the case after looking almost unstoppable on Blood Run and having a lot of signs of life on Ruins. Definitely brought this one down to the wire. Super close, but ultimately Zoot's going to be able to inch off ahead, and we'll be seeing him again on Sunday.
Throughout the course of that was also an amazing frag where kertal is standing on the opposite end of that teleporter with a gauntlet because he knows he's going to come down. Here comes a full-speed Anarchy revving his own gauntlet, and it was just a great exchange. But I think tonight, above most nights, we saw some map choices really benefit. Like, normally throughout the course of this World Championship, you would see a map get changed, but the result would still go to 0. Some of the maps would remain close, but the map choice wouldn't make a humongous impact. Today, I just don't think that was the case. I think the changing of maps consistently was allowing the map chooser to make a comeback, and we saw a lot of 2-1s today because of it.
I think so too. I mean, it's almost like, you know, as you'd expect, I suppose. The longer this game goes on,
that final miss.
This was the clutch moment.
The last
that last rail that missed, that last rail that missed, that allowed that frag to happen. But